Here at Intoxicated Reviews, we intellectually dissect the art of cinema, scene by scene. Here's some clips.
All he is, it's just a fucking big wooden doll full of cum, chasing kids around.
You look up guys who poop in a bag. Because I think that's where you'll find him. Because he is hurt.
It's probably just in your search history anyway, isn't it? A movie which, by the way, reviewed by my mother, the review was, "Thank God you were on early because we couldn't watch any more of that thing."
You got a wide berth here.
Well, this is a good scene. We're watching the infamous dildo scene.
You got trolled.
You were in,
I
too.
shut
You
the
were
fuck
in.
up. No, I didn't say shit. You got trolled.
I
Corey
thought you were
West just
stumbling on
trolled
the
you.
real script.
They didn't even give him a script when he got the job. They gave him a bottle of Stoli and said, "Learn this."
Did you stumble on the joke?
Talk about this movie for fart's sake.
This is a we can swear. This movie fucking blows.
So don't forget to subscribe to Intoxicated Reviews on all places you find podcasts. Except Spotify. We're working on it.
Do not take product if you are hypersensitive.
Oh, hey, Internet, and welcome back to the Intoxicated Podcast. I am your host, Sarah, and Intoxicated is a weekly drinking variety talk show podcast where I usually have my friends on and we have a couple drinks and talk about life. We have a returning guest this week on the podcast. A couple weeks ago, my good friend Heather was actually visiting, and of course, she agreed to come on the podcast. Now, this is Heather's second time on Intoxicated. Her first time was episode 46, and that's a great episode. I highly recommend everyone check that out. But this time around, we actually focus in on her weight loss surgery. So back in April, Heather had a gastric bypass, and since then she has lost about 100 pounds. So it's a huge deal for Heather, and it's been quite the experience for her. So in this episode, she actually sheds light on the surgery itself, the many challenges around that, and that's including the massive lifestyle changes she's had to make, as well as the misconceptions about weight loss surgery in general. A big thing here is that people tend to think weight loss surgery is the easy way out. And I can tell you right now, having heard more from Heather about what she's been through since April, it is not the easy way out. There is a lot involved in undergoing a massive surgery like this. And so this episode covers a lot of that. So it covers what the actual surgery does, the side effects of the surgery, and we do also talk about the emotional side of things. So confidence is a big one. How has her confidence changed since losing the weight? And what issues are still there that she might have to work on? We did also touch on food addiction, which is a huge thing. And that is certainly something that Heather has faced head on undergoing this surgery. She can actually physically no longer indulge that addiction. So that's a really interesting aspect to all of this. This was a fabulous episode. This was very informative. So if you're somebody who is maybe thinking about a weight loss surgery, or maybe you know someone who is, this is a great episode to learn more. So I can't thank Heather enough for coming on and being so open about this. I had a great visit with her. She was down for just over a week. We hung out a bunch and it was amazing. So Heather is awesome and this episode is awesome. And if you are a returning listener of Intoxicated, you know all about our Patreon page. That is patreon.com/intoxicated. Do make sure to check that out if you are not already signed up. It's a great way to support the show. Lots of bonus content and different rewards that you can get on Patreon. You can also follow the podcast on social media. That is Facebook and Instagram, Intoxicated Podcast, on Twitter at @in_intoxicated. You can shoot us an email as well at intoxicatedpodcast@gmail.com. Any questions, feedback, or comments are definitely welcome. But most importantly, make sure you are subscribed to the podcast wherever you find your podcasts, and certainly leave a iTunes rating or review if you're so inclined. That's about all for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode with my person, the Christina to my Meredith, Heather. And we are rolling.
Don't do that.
I wasn't too bad.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't good, though.
We are on the Intoxicated Podcast with a returning guest and one of my best friends ever, Miss Heather.
Hi.
Welcome back. Did we figure out which episode your last one was? 46?
No, maybe it was in the 50s. It was February 15th.
Exact date.
Well, I just remember because I texted it to a friend so that he could listen to it.
That's right. I thought, it makes sense that you would be around there.
Episode 46.
Holy shit. There we go.
Child-free, not by choice.
Yes, this is your
serious episode.
That was a great episode. I loved that episode. That it turned into a therapy session.
It was very cathartic.
Yeah, and I feel like it's like therapy for people who can't afford it.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
Yeah. Although I am not a professional and do not take my advice.
Disclaimer.
Seriously.
Legal disclaimer.
Please do not. I do not know what I'm talking about. I just like talking about life and learning about what other people are going through. Things have changed quite drastically for you since you've last been on. But let's start with a couple things. What we are drinking, which is, I'm not drinking anything, bitches. I had a surgery today. And I didn't know, I kind of thought I might be allowed to drink in the evening, and then they're like, nope, no booze or smoking for 24 hours. And so we had this night cut out for the episode. So I am not drinking, but you are.
Yes, I'm not.
You are drinking.
I'm not supposed to be drinking either, but it's okay.
Moderation.
Yeah, moderation.
Extreme moderation.
Yes, extreme moderation. I'm drinking some basic white girl wine.
Let's get the wine. We got to plug it.
I don't even know what it is.
It's a nice bottle.
It is. It's like one of those German Rieslings. Listen, it was
similar.
I got it because it was the cheapest bottle in the chilled section of the NSLC.
So it is Dreams Riesling. Fucking Christ. Really?
Yes.
Riesling.
I think. Okay, now I'm questioning myself.
See what I mean? I feel like I always used to say the other one, and then I wasn't saying it right.
I think it's Riesling.
Okay, so it is a German wine.
Yep.
In a very nice blue bottle.
It's super pretty.
And it is 10% alcohol. Holy shit. Did you realize this was 10%?
Most wines are 10%, between 10 and 12%.
Oh, that's right. Fuck. Been out of the wine game for so long.
It's all I drink. It's all I can drink now, so.
I don't know why I saw 10% and I was like, oh my. You gonna get drunk.
No, I'll just get tipsy.
Well, so you can't drink, and friendship origin, go back to episode 46 and hear it, because we're not going to retell our friendship origin story, because it's a long story.
It is a
But
long
essentially,
story.
if you are new to Heather, we met in university pretty much.
Yep.
That's pretty much
That's
it.
the simplest way to explain it. University,
class, same
and
program.
then I just couldn't fucking get rid of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Heather has hung out with me all day today after surgery.
Because I'm awesome.
In my last intro for this week's episode, which is in the future last week's episode, I was talking about how nervous I was for the surgery. It is now over. It was nothing. It was a piece of cake.
Simple.
So
easy.
simple. So easy. I was freaking out over nothing. It just goes to show how powerful fucking anxiety can be. And then once you do something, I think it's, for me, just the fear of the unknown freaks me out in every situation.
Yeah, but that's generally what anybody with anxiety tends to worry about.
So a couple things happened that really helped. I had a friend come with me for the whole process. While I was in the multiple waiting rooms, I had someone to talk to. So big shout out to Catherine. Catherine, you are amazing. Thank you so much. Seriously, I owe you a steak dinner, because I was on and off crying about it, and she was there. And then I knew one of the nurses that were in the OR with me, and that really helped as well.
That's awesome.
So it's all good now. Now I'm just very on and off tired. I just had a 2-hour nap and felt really good. But no booze for Sarah. Sarah's drinking Diet Coke.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm on a Diet Coke kick lately. I don't know what it is. I normally go for regular, but this time it is diet. But the reason that you can't drink a lot or shouldn't drink at all, is that you had a big surgery.
Yep, back in April.
So I feel like you might have mentioned it on our episode.
I did.
That you were getting it.
I'm pretty sure I did mention it. I was in the process of getting approved for it. But I had bariatric surgery on April 26th, where I had a gastric bypass. So my stomach is now 10% the size, and it bypasses a good foot or more of my intestines. And
Holy shit.
yeah,
That's wild to think about.
Yeah.
A whole foot.
Yeah, it was a 2-hour surgery, so it was pretty intense.
Yeah. And here I am like, I just had a surgery today. Mine was like probably maybe 10 minutes of actual surgery time. I don't even really know. I'm like, fuck, I can't. And I wasn't cut open or anything. I can't imagine being cut open.
I wasn't really cut open either.
You weren't?
No, I have 5 little scars on my stomach that because of my pale skin, it shows up pretty drastically, but and then there's 4 down by my stomach and then 1 up under my bra.
Oh, crazy.
Right here.
Crazy.
So, and it's super minimally invasive because like this surgery's been around since the 60s, and in that time they have made so many advancements with medical whatever you can say, technology, I guess, yeah, processes. That instead of having to cut you open from like tits to belly button, they literally just do 5 little incisions, and they use these big tools that have like robotic arms on them, and then that does all the work for it. Yeah, they call it laparoscopic.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, because otherwise, had I done it the normal way, like the old-fashioned way, my recovery time would have been like 4 or 5 months. I still would be ridiculously ill right now. But like I'm within 2 weeks of my surgery, I was basically back to normal. So
right. So when did you start thinking about actually doing it? Like it happened in April, right?
Yeah. I was in 2 years. 2 years I was in the waiting list for it. But I had been thinking about bariatric surgery probably since I was about 25. Because I was always a big girl. Like even like when you and I first met, I was only a little bit bigger than I am now, but it was significant enough that I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. I wasn't happy with the way I looked.
See, that's wild to me because I feel like even when you were bigger, you were still very body confident. That's what it seemed like.
Oh, because
can we dive into that?
Well, I faked it till I made it.
This is a good follow up from the last episode because that's kind of what we talked about too in a different sense.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, okay. This is gonna sound so conceited, but I know I'm attractive.
Yeah, you are. You're beautiful.
But like, I know that I'm attractive to a certain group of people, like who have no issues with bigger girls or don't mind a little pudge, you know, like, but I know that like 90% of the time I can get by on my personality alone. So, you know, my face
jealous.
Is good.
What's that like?
I don't think we can get into that right now.
Listen to the Love and Sex Addiction episode. Oh, actually, no. I don't know. My issues tend to sprinkle out through various episodes, but yeah, no. That I've always saw you as somebody who would put on an outfit and rock it. Always saw you that way.
But what you didn't see is that in like the dressing room, I'm trying to put on these clothes and I'm trying on 25 different outfits, and maybe out of those 1 makes me look good, but the other 24 are making me cry and like literally like just want to tear my hair out.
Right. The dressing room is a fucking psychological chamber for women.
Oh, it's a torture chamber is what it is. And even now being at the size I am where I can start shopping at normal stores, like it's like I'm still at the same issue where I'm like, fuck, how am I supposed to wear this clothes, you know? But
yeah, well, I have 1,000 questions, but
I mean, we can.
I'm trying to
start from the beginning.
Let's start from the beginning, and I'll throw in my questions maybe at the end. It'll be like you tell the story, and
and
I'll do Q&A at the end. Who am I kidding here? It did not go that way at all. I just jumped in at any point I could. Anyways, back to the episode.
Yeah. So 2 years ago, I put my back out really badly. Like, disclaimer, I have 3 herniated discs in my back. And
got a bad back, girl.
I got a bad back. Thank you, Mom, for those lovely genetics.
Is it genetic?
Yeah, well, I mean, my brother and my sister and my dad don't have any issues, but my mom's got a lot of spinal issues. So I think the degenerative disc disease that I have, my size for the majority of my life didn't help it, but I think that I wasn't really given a very good starting chance with like my actual spine health. So I have 3 herniated discs in my back. My husband and I went to Paris for a vacation.
Yeah.
My back was already twinging. It was already like, as if anybody with back problems knows when I say my back was out already at this point, and it hadn't recovered. And I flew to Paris, and Mike and I were walking like 5 to 10 kilometers a day, and it was just nonstop, start to finish. And then I was dumb. I wasn't doing any physiotherapy exercises that I should have done. I wasn't stretching afterwards. I'd go home, back to the hotel, and I'd literally sit on a couch and then just like cry. I was popping pills for the entire time I was there. But it was like, I paid $3,000 to go to Paris, and this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I didn't know when I was ever going to get back, so I just kind of trucked on through the pain.
Right.
And then we came back, and suddenly I couldn't walk. I literally couldn't walk. So I had this pain in my hip, and it was like in my ass cheek, shooting down my leg. I'd never had leg pain before, so it was a new and frightening experience. And it turns out I had bursitis in my hip, and I had piriformis syndrome, which I still have issues with today. But it was basically like, you know, like my husband had to help me shower. I couldn't walk without a cane. I couldn't walk more than 10 feet without falling. Like it was the absolute lowest point in my life. And my doctor was like, if you reduce the load on your spine, you would see a significant improvement in the quality of your life.
Right.
And he said it really frankly. And I, you know, like at that point, like anytime a doctor was like, you need to lose weight, you're overweight, you're obese, you know, I would get spiteful.
Well,
and I would be like, I'm going to go
like,
eat a poutine.
I was going to say, and like, this is certainly no offense to like how you were before, but I was, doctors have brought it up in the past.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I feel like you were someone who always really tried. Like
I tried,
you did
and
try,
failed, but I failed all the time.
I mean, and I kind of want to bring up, because I remember before your wedding, you talked about wanting to lose weight for the wedding.
Yep.
So what are your thoughts on when people are in the state of mind where they want to lose weight, but they have like a special event in mind? I don't personally.
No, I don't like that.
I don't think that that's a good way to do it. You
No,
need to look at
because-
your life as a whole.
Yeah, you have that attainable goal. What are you going to do when that goal is over? And then it's just the rest of your life.
Because did you end up losing weight for your wedding a little bit?
Well, it's like 10, 15 pounds.
Right.
Not
so like
much.
you're.
I was at that weight that I, like for the longest time, I was about 190, 200 pounds in high school. And then my first degree at Memorial University, I went up to about 205, 210.
Right.
I totally packed on the freshman 15 at the Mount.
Yeah.
Jumped up to about
So did
230. And at 230, that's where I stayed for like 6-7 years.
Quite a while.
A long time. Enough that it became like my new body shape, my new norm for mentally.
Right.
And then in the last 5 years, I ballooned up to 310 pounds.
Because when I've seen pictures of you from before I knew you, you were kind of like this.
Yeah, the weight I am now that is what I weighed in high school.
What's the weight now? If you don't mind?
Like, well, it depends. Like everybody's scale is different, but I'm going to say somewhere between 205 and 206.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So up until now, you've lost how much?
I have lost 100 pounds.
Crazy.
Yeah, 100 and a bit.
You're literally 100 pounds lighter.
Yep. Yeah, I've lost a really skinny person.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
if you think about it that
like
way.
Snooki, I've lost a Snooki
You've lost a...
because she's like 97 pounds, so I've lost a Snooki.
So the Paris was kind of the
It
literal
was-
breaking
It
point.
was like this, yeah, like I was just like, I can't do this anymore. But I had to think, like, I had tried Weight Watchers at least 6 or 7 times in like the last 10 years. And I'd lose 10 or 15 pounds, but then I would just get demotivated or unmotivated, whatever that word is. I'm sorry. I'm not really good with the English.
better than me.
I would get unmotivated and I would pack it back on plus extra. And it was just like,
Right.
like I'd go through these spurts where I would be motivated, but the spurts were just like, I just couldn't.
Didn't stick.
It didn't stick. Like my motivation is just non-existent. My willpower is even less so.
See, and I love how my episodes kind of, they come out serendipitously. Because like that episode I did with Robin, we touched on motivation.
Yeah.
And it's something that like, I feel like I struggle with it daily.
Yeah.
I struggle with it daily, and I look at people, you know, like her, she's juggling a lot of things. She has 2 kids. I look at people like you. Like, there's all these people I know in my life that have all this stuff going on. We all have so many various aspects. Yep. And I'm just like, I'm always curious as to how people find motivation, because it's a fucking tricky thing.
I wish I knew, because I literally had to surgically give myself food intolerances / food allergies to be able to stop being such a overeating.
What do you mean you had to give yourself allergies?
So the way that gastric bypass surgery works, the surgery I had specifically is called a Roux-en-Y, Rouxeny bypass. And it basically dumps all of the food that I eat. Instead of going into my stomach, it goes straight in my intestines. So it doesn't digest as fast or as thoroughly as what it would if you went through your normal stomach, right? Like everybody's stomach has a valve. Like it's this pouch and it has this valve. It's called the pyloric valve. And your food goes in there. The valve is shut off. Your stomach churns it with acid and it kind of digests it. It starts things breaking down, right? I don't have that anymore. I literally just have like this this chicken egg size pouch, which is my new stomach. And it's a hole that goes straight to my intestines. So when I eat, it just kind of, do you remember the movie Casper?
Yes.
You know, the ghosts literally eating all the food and just falling straight to the floor. That's kind of how my stomach works now. The food just goes straight into my intestine.
So do you feel hungry all the time?
No, I feel pretty satisfied. Like I'll eat small amounts and I'll feel satisfied for up to 3 hours. Like it wasn't as successful for curbing my hunger as what it is for some people. Like some people, they can go 6-7 hours. They literally have to put a timer on to remind them to eat for like the first year after their surgery. And then they would start to get their hunger signals back normally. Like as soon as my surgery was over, within 3 weeks, my hunger signals were pretty much on par with what it was beforehand.
Right.
It's just I'm satisfied with a significantly smaller portion.
Crazy.
So, and like, you know, I would throw up if I continued to overeat. So
I think overeating is kind of this like silent problem going on. Like I'm going to be real about it. Like even in like my family, like it's all about food. Like, you know, if there's ever a special occasion, it's food.
Well, that's our society.
Dessert, like, and it's just like eat.
Rewards are food based.
Yeah.
Anything that upsets you, you soothe yourself with food generally.
I'm such an emotional eater.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, like any celebration with anything that's out of norm is like a treat, is to go out to eat or to go to a special restaurant or to try a new dessert. Like it's the whole fucking society is food based. Yeah. And when you have to remove yourself from that equation, it's startling how much you realize that.
And also too, it's like I'm not usually like, I mean, I'm pretty good with portions. I don't eat massive meals, like unless I'm absolutely starving. Like today I ate a big breakfast because like I hadn't eaten all morning.
Yeah, but that even wasn't that huge of a breakfast.
No, but like that was the perfect amount for me. Anything larger than that would have been too much.
Yeah, like a lumberjack breakfast, that would be too much.
Yeah.
Like that would be a massive
And most
portion.
restaurants serve massive servings.
Yeah.
And so it's actually like training people to eat all this.
Yep. I mean, it's the whole, like, if you see the size of fast food 10 years ago to the size it is now, or the size of fast food in the 80s.
It's crazy.
Like a large soft drink in McDonald's was 12 ounces and now it's 36.
Right.
So like it's crazy. But yeah, like, so back to my surgery, because I don't have that valve, anything that gets dumped down there, my body reacts to super fast. So anything that's too high in sugar, my pancreas kind of loses its mind if there's a high sugar content.
Okay.
And it spikes my insulin and then my sugars crash. And it's kind of like a diabetic reaction, but not as severe. They call it dumping syndrome. Literally, like, I'm not at risk of shitting my pants. Like, I don't know why they call it dumping syndrome.
Do you have to just go to the bathroom super quick?
No, it's like, so my nurse practitioner, who's the person who's been following me after my surgery, like for my checkups and stuff, she basically put it as this: it is the most profound sense of unwellness you will experience post-surgery. Some people can, like, they talk about it that it feels like almost like you're having a heart attack because it causes the sugar spikes cause heart palpitations. Like, I call it a flop sweat. I don't know what anybody else could, but like you break out into this cold sweat that happens all over your body and it just like whoosh, sweaty.
I've gotten
like dumping syndrome can happen to people with normal stomachs too. It's rapid gastral emptying or something. I don't know.
That's crazy because I feel like I've experienced that.
Yeah, and it's just like this like profound unwellness and like nausea. Like you just feel like you're on the precipice of wanting to throw up.
Yeah, I had that.
And the worst for me, like the way that it shows itself for me is I want to go to sleep. I get so tired. It's almost like I cannot keep my eyes open. I had a bite of Mike's cheesecake last week when we were in PEI, and it had like Rolo pieces and caramel. So it was just really sugar laden and I shouldn't have eaten it. And within 10 minutes, Mike's friends were like, "Are you okay?" Because like my head was starting to loll down and roll down. And, like I was 2 seconds from just falling asleep at the table. Now in like 30 minutes, I was great. I was back to normal. But for those 30 minutes, I was super exhausted. I was nauseous to the point where I just was so unwell. So for me to eat a bite of cheesecake, that's my reaction. So basically it's a food aversion therapy. Like it's aversion therapy.
It's creating aversions. Yeah. The surgery itself created aversions for you.
Yeah. So like somebody who's addicted to sweets and junk food, if you get sick every time you eat it, eventually you're not going to want to eat it anymore.
Yeah.
Like this, I've figured out what my limits are. Like when you were in napping, I had 2 of your little chocolate bars.
Okay.
That's my limit. But like if this was me last year, I'd have half that fucking bowl gone before you even woke up. You know, like it would just be like, just get in me.
Question for you.
Wow.
Before you had the surgery, and like obviously you're talking to doctors and stuff, did you ever go to therapy or anything about the actual like emotions behind eating? Like I don't want to say eating disorders because I don't think you had an eating disorder.
No.
But like, you know, the overeating, the emotional eating.
No,
you never had any of that?
None of that. So the way that it works in Ontario, which is where I had it done, I had to go to an orientation where they basically very bluntly said, this will change your life. Like this will change the way that you live your life forever.
But it will work.
Are you still interested? No, they don't even say it'll work because honestly, there's a 50% failure rate. I could gain my weight back eventually. It's really going to, like, this is where I have to start applying some willpower and some motivation.
Right.
This is just, they always call it, this is a tool. This was a tool to help me on my journey to become a healthier person. But
it's still up to you.
It's
you
up
still
to
have to make the
me
decisions
to continue on and to finish the journey, basically. But yeah, they do the orientation, and then when you say yes, I'm still interested, you go to various appointments and you get a bunch of medical tests done to make sure that you're healthy enough for the surgery. Because a lot of these people that, like, I was 310 pounds, but some of these people are 600 and 700 pounds when they're getting this surgery done. So there's a lot of medical risk. Mine was pretty quick. The only reason that it took me 2 years is because I got pregnant in between and then miscarried. So it kind of put a pause on the whole journey. But once the miscarriage happened and I was back to normal, it was like boom, boom, boom. I was in and done. So I had to see the nurse practitioner a couple of times to basically talk about my overall health. Then I had to see a dietitian twice. And that was to talk about my relationship with food.
Oh, okay. So that's kind of maybe where it came into play.
But like the thing is, she's like, you are a very intelligent woman. You understand good nutrition.
Yeah, you are.
So, and she said, she's like, you know what the healthy food is. You know, like what your macronutrients should be. You know that you need to eat a good combination of protein, carbs, and starches, like whatever.
Like
good fats, sorry.
Good fats? Like good fats.
Good fats, protein, and good carbs.
I feel like I need to educate myself on just the basics of a good diet. Like,
yeah.
And I do understand that it's balance.
Yeah.
And I certainly don't have that balance right now. Fuck, I just got to do it. It just, as you get older, it becomes so much more important.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
And
And
your 20s
honestly,
are like impenetrable. You're like, oh, whatever. I'm young.
yeah, and your stomach
Blah.
can basically handle everything. It's, oh God, what I would do to my 20-year-old self if I could just talk to her for a
I
minute.
was gonna say, yeah. What would you say to her?
Put the fucking
let's
spoon down. You are causing nothing
it's
but trouble.
really tricky because we live in this kind of culture of indulgence in a way, and you know,
Consuming.
I've experienced it, like, you know, as someone who's not big but has put on weight this past year, like the little things when I try to do, if I'm out and I make a comment like, oh well, I could get this salad thing, it might be better for, I'd never get a salad, by the way. This is hypological.
Hypothetical.
That's the word. And I had a surgery today, so
yeah, that's your excuse.
but like I'll say something, and then a friend looking at me and seeing that I'm not that overweight or that in that much trouble will say something like, well, one bad meal couldn't hurt.
Yeah, but if it's every meal is going to be,
Exactly.
one bad meal can't hurt, you're just setting yourself up for a oh God, what word am I looking for? A routine. Like you're looking for, like, you're just creating a cycle. It's creating a cycle.
Because you're just going to keep making excuses, and you're just going to keep, everything is going to be a treat.
Yeah.
You know, like today I ate that breakfast poutine. Not the best choice. Not the most healthy breakfast, but I was like, oh, I'm just going to have surgery. I need a treat. And it's just like, I do that a lot with myself. You're right. Like it is, I used to think of emotional eating as only when I'm sad, but really it is truly like when I'm really happy, or if I feel I've accomplished something, I feel the need to treat myself to some shitty food. And the other way around too, when I'm down, I feel the need to do the same thing because I'm sad. So it's like straight up emotional eating.
Oh, it's ridiculous. And they're making a fucking mint off of it, like these companies are.
Yeah. And also too, it's like the whole, oh, you're sad, you know, you're going through a breakup, let's bring you ice cream and chocolate. And like just, it's just a lot. And I think what we got to do as friends of people who are trying to lose weight or better their lives is not argue that.
Yeah, that,
not push that any further.
Like, my goal weight is not what people are expecting.
What?
My goal weight.
Oh, your goal weight.
My goal weight.
Yeah, your goal weight is what I am. Right now.
So I'm 5'8". My healthy weight range, according to the BMI scale, which, disclaimer, I understand there's a lot of controversy about BMI. You know, there's large boned people, there's small boned people, and not this scale can suit everybody. So my scale, according to the BMI, is between 132 pounds and 164 pounds.
Right.
So I, of course, like my obvious goal is to get to 164 and not be considered overweight anymore. Like I'm now considered obese class 1. I was morbidly obese, which is obese class 3 until I lost all this weight. But once I get to 164, I'd like to continue losing and to be about 150 pounds.
Oh, I thought it was 140.
Okay, so like I have a scale. It's between 145 and 150. Okay. So like there's a like, gotcha. And the thing is, when you're that small, 5 pounds makes a difference. So like anywhere at that point, when I'm comfortable, like if I get to that point and I look like Skeletor, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna start having coffee cream in my coffee, and I'm gonna start eating full fat cheese, and I'm gonna start packing on.
Do it in moderation.
Yeah. But like I'm gonna, like, if I get to the point where my weight is too low and I look like I need a hamburger, I'm going to increase my calorie intake so that I gain some of the weight back.
Right.
But I'd like to just see, you know, personally, I want to be able to get to that point and just say I did it. Yeah. But my husband thinks that I'd be perfectly healthy looking at 185 pounds. And I'm like, no, because I'll still be like 25 pounds overweight considered. Like, I just don't want to be that. I want to be what is considered through medical science a healthy weight that's going to give me the best start. Like, it's going to make you look good and feel good.
But yeah, like being a healthy.
Like they don't say that this is a healthy weight just because it's just a nonsense number that they picked out of the sky. This is based on science. Like, this is best for your heart. This is going to be best for the rest of your systems and all that shit. So like I want to get to that point where I'm considered to be optimal health.
Yeah. Like, and also too, like, for people looking in, you have not experienced it. You have not made this life-changing decision. So it's probably easy for you to go accept the bare minimum or accept a standard that's a little lower.
Yeah.
Whereas you've gone through the surgery. You made that choice. You're changing your diet for good.
Yep.
Like you are making actual hardcore daily life changes. This is a lifestyle change. This is not a diet.
Yeah. No, this is completely
This is a complete lifestyle overhaul.
And like I can never say, oh, I'm going to have a cheat day, because I will literally just get so sick.
There
like,
shouldn't be such thing, really.
Yeah. Like, so like when we went out for breakfast / brunch today,
Yeah.
like it took me a good 45 minutes to dissect that menu.
You were looking at it ahead of time before we even got there.
Yeah, to make sure that there was something that I could order. And even then I was like, it's iffy. So like I ordered a hot turkey sandwich, but I made sure that I didn't have any gravy on it. And I didn't eat, I think I had half of a slice of the bread.
You had gravy on the side though, didn't you?
I had gravy on the side.
But you could limit that.
Yeah, so
how
like it was like by the time I was done, I had 2 tablespoons of gravy.
Right.
You know, instead of it being like a cup of gravy like drenched in bread.
Yeah, and I think that that's also important. We talked about this at brunch, but don't be afraid to ask staff to be specific.
Yep. And
because like listen, like if people have allergies, they're probably getting that same
no, exactly.
request.
So like my doctor gave me this card that I have in my wallet, and it says that I had a Roux-en-Y gastric bypass to please accommodate me by ordering off the children's menu or the seniors menu.
Oh,
because
that's good. I didn't realize that's what it was for.
Yeah, well, it also shows like if I get in a car accident and paramedics need to see, it's like a medical alert bracelet to say, you know, like I can't have a feeding tube ever. So
really. Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, because it would literally like poke right through my stomach.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, there's some medical things that I can't do anymore. Like there's a lot of limitations, but yeah. So wait, what were we talking about? I totally just lost my train of thought.
Just like the eating out at restaurants and requesting.
Yeah. So like, but
things.
the trouble with children's menus, it's a grilled cheese sandwich or it's pasta or chicken strips and fries, and I'm just like, I just want a good lean source of protein with some vegetables.
So has your eating out gone down? Do you eat out less now?
Holy shit, yes.
Yeah.
Like we've increased it a fair bit in the last couple of weeks,
right?
Because I'm learning what I can and can't eat, because it was a relearning process. Like there's some stuff I can handle and some stuff I can't handle. So Mike and I are rediscovering what works, and a lot of the time he'll order something and I'll just eat a bit off of his plate, and it's good for him too, because he's making healthier food choices, and that's it.
And he's eating, doing a little bit more portion control because you're sharing.
Yeah. So and he's lost 30 pounds since we started. Yeah. So he's kind of in a bit of a stall right now, but that's because he sneaks junk food when I go to bed. Little shit.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, I'll come downstairs and I'll open the garbage and it'll just be like party mix, and I'm like, oh honey, come on, really? And he's like, he's like, I had the munchies, I smoked a joint.
I mean, I think this is a tricky thing, because like when I'm thinking of people on weight loss journeys, like I think that there is a scale. You were at the high end of that scale.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like you had to do something like this.
Yeah, or I was gonna have a heart attack.
I feel like if you're somebody who's like in the medium or like even the lower end of the scale, like I don't necessarily believe in depriving yourself, but I do believe in control and all of that. And I think that's very emotional, and you got to do a lot of work to do that.
Yep.
Like why are you, like for me, it's like, why are you filling voids with food?
No, I know. Yeah.
Like, why do you instantly go to food, booze, or sex when you're feeling like those are the 3 things that I go to if I'm feeling stressed, down, like, so like, it's important to like, I just see these diets all the time and I just kind of roll my eyes, like these people doing these diets that last like
they're all fucking
couple
fads.
months and then they're done.
They're fads.
And I just don't necessarily believe in fad diets. Like, I feel like my sister, ooh, Mary, if you're listening to this, shout out, like is just very smart about a balanced diet. and calorie counting. That's really all she does. So she doesn't do these like keto diets or like she doesn't do any of these fat diets. She's just literally like is just smart about food. She doesn't deprive herself. She'll treat herself every now and then. She does still drink, but she also runs. So like it's like a complete
balance. It's checks and balances.
And I totally friggin' believe in that. And I think like it's tough to get there, but once you get there, it's like a routine, right? Like you just gotta start doing things.
Yeah,
to get yourself in a routine.
It becomes your new norm.
Hard.
So for the hospital, they don't recommend that we join Weight Watchers. They don't recommend that we do like low carb or anything like that. They do what is CICO, calories in versus calories out.
CICO.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's basically it is the most simplified science version. You eat less calories than you expend, you will be in a calorie deficit. You will lose weight. There will be stalls. There will be weeks where you won't lose anything. There'll be weeks where you might gain a pound because your body is unused to you doing this to itself, and it's an equilibrium. But scientifically speaking, if you eat less than what you expend, if you eat less energy than what you expend, you will lose the weight. It might take a longer time. Like, yeah, so I lost 100 pounds in 6 months. That is not normal. Like I went from eating,
it was pretty drastic.
I went from eating 8 to 10,000 calories a day to eating barely
8 to 10,000.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was a tubby.
I didn't realize it was that many calories.
Yeah, everything. Like I would be eating 2,000 calorie meals, and then I would be eating like 1,000 calorie snacks. Like everything was
snacks are the kicker.
Yeah, like I was just constantly shoving this shit in my face.
Yeah,
you know, like when I wasn't playing video games, I was eating, you know, and I was eating bad food, deep fried food, ordering out. Like it was tough. So if you eat less than what you expend, it will happen eventually. And I am now eating about 1,200 calories a day.
Right.
So, but the thing is, like when you're eating that much and your deficit is that high, the pounds pretty much just run away from you. And then your body you need more energy. So like, I'm now at the weight where 1,200 calories only puts me at about a 500 calorie a day deficit. Like for me, I could go, because I'm pretty sedentary. Like I don't work out very much. Like I walk, but that's about it.
Do you want to talk about what happened when we were walking home here?
Yeah, that's a non-scale victory that I'm pretty proud of.
Let's fucking talk about it, because this was a moment. So over the course of our friendship, what have you known about me? I'm a fast walker.
You have a rocket lodged firmly between your ass cheeks, and it is like I have to run a fucking marathon to keep up with you.
And many times have we gone out and said,
Sarah, slow down. Sarah, can you please fucking slow down? Sarah, stop.
Where's the fire, Sarah?
Yeah, me and Kurt will be walking, and you'll be fucking half a kilometer ahead of us, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but today we were walking from the bus to my apartment. There's a little bit of a hill over a bridge that you have to walk over to get to all of that. And now we should test this out on a time that I'm not post surgery.
I was gonna say you had a surgery today, so I mean the cards were stacked against you a little bit already. So,
but you were walking and I was walking behind you.
Yeah, and you actually told me that you were like, "Can you slow down?"
I was like, I can't believe I'm saying this. Can you slow down? And like, Heather was just like, what?
I know, mind was blown. I was like, can we please like document this? Because
it should have been documented. I should have
12 years that we've been friends. Has it been 12 years? I'm not sure.
It's been a lot.
2006.
2006. Oh yeah, that's right.
2006. Yeah. End of 2006. So 2006 to 2018, close to 2019. Yeah, so 12, 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I have never walked faster than you. So
and then I said, I was like, I don't know if I'm more disappointed with myself or just really proud of you.
I think you can be both.
Combo of both.
I think you can be disappointed in yourself and be as equally proud of me at the same time.
Well, they told me no crazy, don't exert yourself too much in the first week. That's what they said. So
anesthetic does a job to you. It's like I was pretty out of it for the first week. Like, and after my surgery, I wasn't even allowed to lift anything for more than 10 pounds for the first 4 weeks.
That's wild.
Well,
I keep saying wild a lot. I've been noticing
like they literally rearranged my inside, so like there was a chance that I could have a hernia. So it's all good now, but yeah,
craziness. So what about the surgery itself? Because I just had one. It was a wussy surgery, but I was a big fucking baby. I want to know, going into this big surgery, how were you mentally? Were you someone who got stressed out about it?
I was this,
Were you
like,
nervous?
if you could see me right now, I'm holding my fingers maybe half an inch apart. I was this close to just standing up and saying, I've changed my mind. I'd like to
Really?
I'm going to be fat for the rest of my life.
I didn't realize you were so nervous.
I'll risk a heart attack. That's fine, and walk away.
Talk about that. Were you someone like how, so when
Because
you got
I
your
was-
surgery date, how much time, when you got the date, how much time did you have before the surgery?
3 weeks.
Oh, that's not a lot.
And it was
Holy shit.
but not even that. So yeah, so back to the whole, like, I had my dietitian appointments, I had my medical appointments, then I saw a social worker, and she was considered to be my psychology appointments, although a social worker being a psych evaluator is a little questionable to me. But
Probably not. It's not the worst, but not
no,
the best.
it's not the best, but whatever, I dealt with it, and I got approved. I saw the surgeon April 1st. He weighed me, got my final weight at 308 was my final weight. It was actually like 310, but he took 2 pounds off for clothes and boots because he measured me in my winter clothes. And then
That
literally,
stuff matters. I don't care what people say.
yeah, and then
I strip naked when I weigh myself.
so do I, and I do it first thing in the morning after I pee.
Yeah,
So then I had to go meet the surgeon, and I had to sign my consent form to say, yes, you can cut me open and rearrange my insides.
yeah.
And then I was like, so what's time frame are we looking at? He's like, it could be between, he's like, you will have at least 3 weeks,
Right.
but it could be as upwards to 12 weeks before you have your surgery. 2 days later, I get a call, and they're like, we've had a cancellation. It's in 2.5 weeks. But before your surgery, obese people tend to have a very fatty liver, and the liver is right on top of your stomach. So it gets in the way of when they're trying to do the surgery. So they put you on what they call a liver shrinking diet, and it is a shake only. So like,
I remember seeing pictures of the shake that you-
nutritional shakes only. So for 3 weeks, 21 days, you have 4 of these nutritional shakes,
That's it.
and you have no food.
Oh
no
my God.
solid food.
How was that for you?
I cheated horrendously.
Did you cheat bad?
Not horrible. So the first, I could only go on it for 18 days because I got called to go in early. And the doctor was like, yeah, 18 days is fine. That should be enough for you to shrink your liver enough. The shakes tasted fine. They were kind of salty. It was weird, but it's because they have basically everything that you need nutritionally, like in a powder form.
Yeah. There's no way it could be good.
Like they weren't horrible, but like the first 4 days were the absolute worst because like I was just fantasizing about food because like my mouth just missed chewing stuff.
It's like the oral fixation.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Once you reach about day 3, day 4, your body goes into ketosis. So your hunger tends to drop drastically.
Dang.
Yeah. So like I would drink one of these shakes and I would be satisfied for about an hour and a half, and then the hunger pain would come. And then all I'd be doing would be just be looking at the clock being like, when can I have my next shake? When can I have my next shake? And
I would be so...
it got so bad. I knew in advance that I was going to be a fucking horrendous Satan spawn about it.
Did other people around you notice?
I gave everybody a warning. So Lindsay and Brogan, they didn't come around very often. Lindsay would text me and I was really short with her. I'd be like, can't talk,
I don't
hungry.
remember talking to you much during that time.
No.
Other than getting Snapchats every now and then.
Yeah. And then Mike moved my computer up from downstairs into my room. Mike moved into the guest room. But at my request, at my request, because
Okay.
I knew our marriage might not survive those 3 weeks because I was literally demon. I was a demon. I was so angry and I didn't care that it wasn't his fault. I was just taking it out on him.
Fuck.
Like, and I knew it because like I was about to make this most radical decision of my life, this change. And like I was saying goodbye to absolutely every pleasurable thing I knew aside from, sex. Because this is pretty much it. The 2 most pleasurable things in my life were sex and food, and I was giving it up.
So then the other one must have.
Yeah, no, because
Went up?
I didn't want to touch him. I was just angry, and I was just
Right.
like, yes. I was like, nope. And also, Mike and our sex life kind of took a hit when I gained a lot of that weight because I was I had a lot of body image issues. I didn't want him to see me. Like we couldn't do a lot of positions because honestly, when you're that big, it just doesn't fit. So like, it's just sex was really unfulfilling the last couple of years.
Right.
It has since gotten exponentially better. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
You getting on top now?
Yeah, I can't. Well, I still have a lot of hip problems from my back, so I do get on top, but it's not as enthusiastic as I'd like it to be.
You get there though, maybe.
Yeah, I'll get there. It's gonna take some work, but yeah. So then, like for those 3 weeks, Mike moved into the other room, and I stayed in my room on my computer, and I played video games for 3 weeks and fantasized about food. And twice,
Oh my god,
we went to a movie, and I had a chicken wrap.
Yeah.
And that was with like the first 5 or 6 days of me starting this liquid diet. So I was like, it's early on. If I cheat, it's not going to affect me too badly.
Do they tell you when you start the liquid diet that like, because okay, like this is my thing about rules that like medical professionals give you. It's like there's no way for them to know for sure.
No, like they're not watching me 24/7. So I think they realize that some people are going to do this. They can't tell me what would be acceptable to cheat with. So it was up to me that I figured a chicken wrap would be.
I mean, you've been rocking the chicken wraps a lot, I've noticed.
Chicken is my new favorite meat.
Chicken's great.
I hated chicken before my surgery.
Did you really?
Yeah, I wasn't
What?
a huge chicken eater. I was like steak and sausage and pork and all that stuff, and now it's chicken. So yeah, then Mike cooks chicken breasts for his lunches to either make a sandwich with or just to eat a chicken breast like straight up, just like a cold boneless, skinless chicken breast.
Yeah.
Sorry, my voice cracked like I was going through puberty and I was a boy.
See, that to me, I like chicken, but I need seasoning and I need.
Oh no, like
flavor on it.
he salts and peppers it, or he puts like Mrs. Dash on it. It tastes delicious. And like in the middle of the night, one night I woke up and I was so done. Like it was 4 days before my surgery, and I snuck down and I just devoured 2 chicken breasts, and it was the most satisfying thing I've ever done.
Oh my gosh, I can imagine.
And then for 4 days after, right before my surgery, I didn't do anything, but I lost 20 pounds in 18 days. Because it was a 900 calorie supplement schedule. So yeah, 20 pounds. I went from 308 to 288. Had my surgery bumped up to like 295 because they fill you with fluid like nonstop, and like you're filled with gas and you're constipated and it's terrible. And these are the things that nobody really tells you about until afterwards. You know, it's like I was like my kingdom to be able to fart right now. I know you laugh now, but like for them to make sure that the seal is watertight, because like the food's going in, you don't want food to leak out into the rest of your body. They fill you with gas to see if there's any air bubbles that pop
so
through.
You're breathing in gas?
Like they're literally like they've got this gun in your stomach.
Oh my god!
And they're just pumping you full of gas. So like my stomach was literally like this big, and it was like somebody put a beach ball, like you know those Tropicana bottles back in the day, where it was literally like somebody has, it's like, you know, skinny, big ball, skinny. That's what I looked like for the first few days after my surgery. And it took about 3 days before the gas kind of like dissipated, and like once I started farting, like you could hear me in the house. Like Mike was there, and I was like, oh my god, thank you. And it was just like,
God, that must have felt good though.
Oh, and like it's embarrassing, but literally like I'd lift my ass cheek off this couch, and it would be like a 25-second release of air. And like, it's not a normal fart where it's like, brrr. It was literally just like, just air escaping my body through my bum.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then, you know, once things started moving and, you know, I was pooping normally and all that fun stuff, I lost 8 pounds in the first week. And then I've been going pretty much, it was anywhere between 3.5 and 4.5 pounds a week up until about a month ago. Now I'm back. Now I'm down to like 1 to 2 pounds a week. So things are tapering off, and I have a feeling like my next 50 pounds, which is how much I have left to lose, that might take as equally long as it took me to lose the first 100. So
right.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm a little terrified because people with this surgery gain weight back after the first 18 months.
That.
Yeah. So this is what they refer to as the quote unquote honeymoon phase. The first 18 months is your absolute best weight loss. You will lose it like without even trying. So it's because you can't eat anything.
Like you physically just don't feel like
you don't
more.
feel like eating more. Like,
and like I notice it with you, like when you eat, you're just like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
I am like, there's like a definite, where some people like push it. They're like, I'm full, but I'm going to eat more anyway because I want this food.
Can do that. I can do that. And I have done that recently where like I'm full, but I'll eat a couple of extra bites, but then I regret it and I feel so gross afterwards. So I'm really like mentally trying to change that behavior, but that's behavior ingrained in me since before the surgery too, that like, oh, finish what's on your plate, take those 3 extra bites, or like it's so good and it'll taste just as good, but like I'm learning that those 3 extra bites, while they might taste good, they're making me feel gross. So
you remember the times, you need to start like remembering the times that made you feel bad and go, I don't want to feel that way again.
Exactly.
So
yeah, it's like when you had food poisoning that one time and it totally turned you off from like eating some type of food.
And you know what I find it is too, like it's not even necessarily the food that gave you food poisoning. Like for me, like I had a poppy seed salad and a tuna sandwich one time and got sick that night, and that's not what gave me the food poisoning, I don't think, because like it's actually usually the stuff you eat the day before that gives you food poisoning, but because it was the last thing I ate
it totally
before
turns
getting
you off.
sick, I was just like not happening.
No, I know.
Never want to eat them again.
There's certain things like that just turn me off completely, and that's another thing about this surgery. Your food tastes and your food changes.
Interesting.
Loved eggs before the surgery. If I eat a hard-boiled egg, I will vomit.
But you like
horrendously.
fried eggs, right? Still?
Fried eggs I can do, kind of. It's iffy. It's a 50-50 chance. Hated chicken before my surgery. Love chicken now. Like, gimme chicken
Love the
dinner.
chicken.
Love turkey. Wasn't a huge poultry fan until after my surgery. But, like, it's just, like, my tastes have changed completely. Hated, loved pork before my surgery. If I eat a pork chop, I kind of just like, I'm just like, it's like chewing rubber to me. Like your actual taste buds change a little bit.
Huh.
Yeah. I have a feeling things will go back to a little bit more normal after the first 18 months. But yeah, like eggs and pork are they don't agree with me. And like,
That's crazy.
yeah.
So like once you had the surgery, so you mentioned about the calorie in, calorie out,
Yeah.
but you also said that they don't recommend calorie trackers or calorie.
No, they do. They do.
Oh, they do.
They
Okay.
don't recommend any like weird
Weight
diets.
Watchers, like incentive ones.
Yeah, like they
Okay.
don't like Weight Watchers is the closest to a lifestyle change, but still Weight Watchers talks about how, you can still eat as long as you're within your points. You can eat ice cream for dinner. They totally don't want you doing that.
Right. Okay.
Like they want you to eat a set amount of calories, but they want it to be in a balanced way with protein, carbs, and fats.
right.
I have to eat a certain amount of protein per day.
Protein. Okay.
Yeah.
So you get that in chicken.
I get that in chicken. I usually drink a protein shake every day because I can't, my stomach it can't hold the volume.
Right.
So I Premier Protein makes these little prepackaged chocolate protein shakes that have 30 grams of protein in it.
Okay.
I usually have one of those a day. Like before in the first couple of weeks of my surgery, I was drinking like 3 of them a day just to get my protein in. Yeah, like for my height, I'm supposed to eat like 75, 100 grams of protein. And I'm lucky that with food, I can eat 60. So I supplement it, and I'll probably continue to supplement it forever.
So did they give you a strict diet, or did they just give you the fundamentals to?
They
Make
just
your choices.
they don't tell me that anything's off limits. They just say you can try it, but you might feel profoundly unwell after
So
eating
it's kind of a thing you got to figure out yourself.
Yeah, it's super trial and error. They gave me a menu, like a basic.
Oh, okay.
These are things that are generally well tolerated. Give these a try first.
Right.
After like 6 to 8 weeks after your surgery, start slowly reintroducing food that you normally like to eat, but this time maybe don't eat it deep fried.
Right.
Pan fry it in Pam, like lightly sprayed canola oil or something. Or instead of having something that's like covered in a cream sauce. Have the sauce on the side and dip your fork in it. Like they give you those.
Yeah, because when you got the gravy on the side today, I didn't like. When you did that, I was like, well, what difference does it make? But then I realized, like, no, that makes total sense because you have control over it.
How much I'm going to have.
Yeah.
And like anytime I get something that has sauce, I'm like, can I have the sauce on the side? Or if it's dressed previously, I'll say lightly dressed. You know,
Lightly dressed. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm turning into a plain Jane, unfortunately, which sucks because I loved condiments and I loved sauces before this surgery, and now it's like tzatziki sauce is pretty much what I eat mostly. So
that's good though.
Oh, it's delicious.
So what are the things that, not to rub salt in the wound, but the foods that you've realized can be no more in your life or significantly limited? So
like sausage,
and also the thing that bonded our friendship, coffee.
Coffee, yeah. Well, I can have coffee. It just has to be decaffeinated.
But it's not like what you used to be.
No. So I'm on a caffeine-free diet for life. So there is like things that I can never, ever have again after surgery. Carbonated drinks.
That sucks.
Caffeine there's a little wiggle room. I can have it occasionally, but I cannot be a heavy caffeine user because it could cause an ulcer. And in my stomach, an ulcer would be horrendously bad. Also, it's dehydrating. And after bariatric surgery, hydration is one of the key pillars next to protein intake. They really want you to stay hydrated. Make sure you eat your protein and you get your protein in, and then make sure that you're drinking your water. So like
water's so important.
I have to drink at least 64 ounces. They'd like me to be up to like 90 if possible. And it's just like caffeine tends to be a diuretic. Now, I mean, there's studies that show caffeine is not as bad of a diuretic as people used to assume. So like if I have it occasionally, it's not that bad. But yeah, no carbonation. So no more pop. No more beer, no more cider, no more champagne.
Which is crazy because for all those things, I always knew you as the Pepsi girl.
Diet Pepsi. Loved my Pepsi. Had a sip of flat Diet Pepsi a couple of weeks ago. Nearly threw up in my mouth. It was so chemically tasting.
So this is like so crazy to me because it's like you know that you used to love this thing.
I know, and now I'm looking at it.
Physiologically, things have changed and you don't like that thing anymore.
But I think if you gave up Coke or like if you gave up pop for 3 months,
I know. I really
if you
should.
tried to sip it, it would just taste like liquid chemicals too.
You know, I've done it. I've gone on and off with pop, and I still fucking love it.
Okay,
but maybe I just haven't gone long enough.
It might be that. Yeah, it was just like it tasted really gross to me.
Yeah.
Ginger ale, I'll still drink flat diet ginger ale, but that's just because to me it's very soothing. Like, you know, like if your stomach is upset, like the ginger, even though I know there's probably very little ginger in actual ginger ale, but so I'll like flatten the shit out of it and drink it flat. But what else? Alcohol. So
explain the alcohol thing.
Well, so according to, there's no real research to back it up, but incidental evidence from the hospital that did my surgery, they have noticed that there is a percentage of people who have had bariatric surgery who have been addicted to food and can no longer satisfy that addiction. They have had a transference of addictions. So instead of being addicted to food, they become addicted to alcohol. They become addicted to drugs.
Sex, shopping.
Yeah, this was the list they gave me.
Oh my God.
Drugs, alcohol, promiscuous sexual activity. And that's the word they use, promiscuous sexual activity. Like, Jesus Christ.
Like, specifically promiscuous.
Yeah, I know. And then shopping. Online shopping. There's one girl who literally would wake up and spend $2,000 before she even got out of bed on her phone.
Jesus Christ.
The shopping I can understand because like now that I can shop in normal clothes stores, I'm like, I want everything. But I'm reining it in. So, because honestly, replacing my wardrobe has been a fucking nightmare.
So let's talk about that side of things because you mentioned you had body image issues like when you were bigger. Yeah. Which boggles my mind because I never really saw that looking at you. So that obviously must have been a very...
I was very Elsa. Conceal, don't feel.
Conceal, don't feel. Don't let them know.
Oh, God, stop. Please.
How... Number one, Never noticed it on the outside. So like,
It was very internalized.
so what? How did that internalization manifest itself? Like, was this something you shared with Mike?
Well, yeah, like, because he lived with me, so he would see it mostly. Like, if we were going to go out somewhere, I would literally be in my closet crying because I couldn't figure out what to wear, and like nothing looked good on me. Or like he'd be helping me into Spanx that would literally be cutting off all of my circulation.
I feel like I'm kind of highly against Spanx. I get it, but I'm also just like,
Oh, sweetheart, Spanx are my life right now, because now after losing 100 pounds, my
Oh, I never even thought about that. That's very true.
my thighs look like melted candles when I stand up.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's like
I'm having a deja vu moment
like
right now.
saddlebags, like oh, the wrinkles, and like
Did you mention this to me before?
maybe, and like my butt, my underwear cuts into my butt, and like it used to just be like
This happened already. We've had this exact. I'm seriously having such crazy deja vu right
I
now.
don't know, I might have mentioned it in passing, but like things have gotten really bad in the last couple of weeks that I've noticed. Like,
Yeah, I guess in that sense, I do.
like
I just don't want women to be uncomfortable in Spanx.
like right now you can't see this, people, but I am waving my bat flaps that are on the underside of my
I got
arms.
some of those too, though.
Yeah, but I'm like, this is all skin, sweetheart.
Is there anything? How do they recommend dealing with the loose skin?
Surgery.
So would that be another surgery you'd be?
Yeah, but I
thinking
wouldn't be
about
covered, so I had to pay for it, and it would cost me $30,000 or $40,000.
Holy fuck!
It's plastic surgery. That shit isn't covered. They do cover what they call a penectomy, which would be like if the stomach skin literally became an apron and went down over your pubic area, they would cut it off, but they don't make it pretty, and there's a lot of complications, so I would never get that done. So a lot of women choose to just go straight for a tummy tuck.
Right.
Like if I had the ability, I would get my arms done, I would have a tummy tuck, and I would get my thighs done. Like the boobs, yeah, they're pancake titties, and they will never be
Did
normal.
the boobs get affected at all by this?
Yeah,
Or
like
is-
if I like I can just pinch the skin really like easily right now. Like you see that?
So did you go down a cup size at all? Or?
Yeah, I was a double. No, I went 2 cup sizes. I'm now a D, and I was like a triple E. So, like, I had to go to specialty stores to get it. I was like a 44 triple E, and now I'm a 38 D. But like, I was always a big tittied kind of girl.
Oh yeah.
So that
Big
hasn't
titty.
changed. And like my body shape is back to like before. Like at my heaviest, I was kind of round all over, because things just had gotten to that point where like I didn't have a body shape. But now I'm more like back to my hourglass figure.
You are, and I gotta say, I haven't said it yet, but you look amazing.
Thank you.
When you walked in my apartment building, I was like very dumbfounded, because you see pictures and it's just not the same as seeing someone. Like,
In
you sent me
person.
pictures of before and after, and I'm just like, this is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But like, see, you know, you obviously like you pull your shirt up to show it, but like when you see someone like in their normal clothes that they wear, and like, you know, you see them in front of you, it's just like, where did Heather go? Holy shit! I hugged you, and I was like,
I
where's
know.
the rest of Heather?
And like when Kurt
Oh.
walked in the door, he's like, I thought you said Heather was here, and I was standing right in front of him. I'm like, haha, it's so fucking funny.
Well, like Kurt made a good point that night, because he said, he was talking about like just the idea of the fact that like we don't see you regularly, so obviously this is like, from the last time I saw you, this is drastic. This is like,
Yeah, this is 100 pounds.
it's like half of you in a weird way, or like I guess it would be like a third of you.
It'll be I'll literally have lost half of my body weight by the time I'm done.
Got you.
Yeah.
By the time it's and so he said, he's like, so obviously we are reacting like, whoa, but like people who were around you throughout the whole process probably just saw it as really a gradual.
Yeah, Lindsay and Brogan, they don't really see it until I show them my before pictures, and they're like, I like the way that I looked before. They're like, I don't see that person. Like, I see the person you are now. So it, like, when they see me from my fat days, which I'm not ashamed to call them my fat days.
One thing I love about you, by the way, I love that you embrace that word
Yeah,
and don't give it power.
I'm a fatty. So
You
back,
were a fatty.
oh yeah, I loved my cake. So then they'd look at the pictures of me back from when I was really fat, and they were like, that's not you. You are this person now. And like they don't see that instantaneous change. So like coming here and seeing everybody being like, oh my God. And like even in PEI, my in-laws, you know, like they were just like, holy shit.
Yeah, you still look like Heather. It's just an adjustment.
Yeah.
And
I still act like
Heather.
Heather
It's not like
too.
you're like you're at a healthy point right now. You've lost a bunch of weight. You look amazing. And also too, it's like what I've just noticed is like you're not out of breath when you're walking around, which is fucking great. Like
not like sweating all the time.
It sucks when you have a friend that you want them to, and I'm about to get cheesy, but like you want them to enjoy life and be happy, even with just like everyday things like going out about and like
being able to go walk around the mall for an hour or two.
Exactly.
You know, like I would have never been able to do this last year.
Like you would have had to have taken sit down breaks.
Yeah, and I would have. Yeah,
and now you're walking good.
I'm crossing my fucking legs.
You're crossing your fucking legs, bitch.
I could never do that. I'm going to be flying back to Ottawa this next week, and it's going to be the first time that I won't need to request a seatbelt extender, and I'm going to fit in that seat of that flight comfortably.
Take a picture of that.
I will. God damn it.
I think so. Okay, going back to the confidence thing, because I like to get deep on this show, but like the body image issues you had when you were bigger.
Yeah.
You were big for a lot of your life.
Oh yeah, my dad had a nickname for me when I was a kid, and I'm pretty sure this did not help things. My sister was always taller than me, and she was always really thin, and I was always a little chunky, even as a baby. Like I had a lot of pudge. So my dad used to call Crystal skinny, and I used to be fatso.
No,
he didn't really honestly.
I get it's kind of ignorant. It's ignorance.
Like it is ignorance. It's
100%.
like how some family members are obviously a little more racist without realizing that what they're doing is racism, you know, like, or it's people who were homophobic back in the day. Like honestly, he didn't know any better.
And that's the thing about parents. They usually mean well, but they can fuck up sometimes.
Yeah. So like I was always the bigger one. And like even with my girlfriends.
That was me and my family too though.
Yeah, always with my girlfriends, I was the bigger one out of all of my girlfriends, you know. It wasn't until I met like my high school friends that a bunch of them were had my body shape and were on the bigger end of normal. Because even now realizing what I was in high school, I was normal. I was on the bigger end of normal. But in high school, it was the end of my life because I'm looking at these 120 pound waifs and I'm like, why can't I look like you? And I'm like 185 pounds and, you know, a little bit overweight, but by no means obese.
It's such engraved in us to just.
Yeah, it wasn't until I got to 310 pounds that I was like, if I could go back to my 18-year-old self and be that size, I would be so fucking happy.
Right.
Like I'm at the size I am now when I was 21, 22. Well, 20. I don't even know when I was this size. But
like before I knew you, I didn't know you quite at this size.
No, and like the first summer that I met Mike, I lost a bunch of weight and I was this weight when I came back from PEI the second year at the Mount, and everybody was like, "Oh my God." Okay.
But yeah, the comparing to other women thing. I did a whole confidence episode where I talked about this. It's just it's so fucking hard to get away from that. And even when, you know, like this past summer when I felt like I was at my top confidence level, I was still doing it. Yeah. And it's just, you know, picture time. I was watching I Feel Pretty the other day for the second time. I love that movie.
I wish I could like that movie, but I really don't like Amy Schumer. I'm sorry.
I know you don't. So. But there's a scene where they're taking pictures as females, like a group of 3 females taking pictures. And like it made me realize like how intense those dynamics are when it comes to be picture time.
Yeah.
With like, say 3 women that are all different shapes and sizes.
Oh yeah, well,
and everyone wants to look cute in the picture. So everyone's posing in ways that are flattering to them or trying to.
Yeah.
But that doesn't always look natural. Yeah. But you're doing it to look cute in the it's just there's so much psychological stuff like going on there.
Friday night with you and me. That's the first full body picture that I took in a long time. Like aside from the pictures I take in front of my mirror to show my progress, like if you look back on my Facebook or any of my social media profile, it's always from the neck up.
Yeah.
Like I was never going to take photos of my body because I was always so ashamed of it. And even now I'm still not comfortable. Like I'm looking back on that photo of you and me from Friday night.
You looked awesome.
But I look at it and I'm like,
see, when we took that picture, I felt that you were happy with it. And I looked at it and I said, oh, I don't really like Like I liked, it's my stomach area that I'm most insecure about. I know I have a bit of a tummy, working on it, but like I looked at the picture and said, you know, like it's a nice picture. I really like it. I don't like the stomach on me in this picture, but you look fucking great. So you fucking post that picture and tag me. I don't give a shit. I'm proud of you. And I'm proud to be standing beside you.
But I was looking at it and I was like, my chest looks great, but from like my chest down, I was like, I don't know if I like it. So like, it's like, even now, like I know I look 10 times better than I did this time last year, but like I'm still got confidence issues with my body. And like, like it all boils down to like the fact that I have skin issues. Like I was trying on dresses and like, unless they go to my knees, I can't wear them because literally you can see the folds of my thighs from losing the weight. Like I literally could jump down in my underwear right now and show you, but we'll just wait till I have some more wine before I do that.
Yeah.
But like I'm
such a double-edged sword.
Yeah, well, and that's fucking way. But they warned me before my surgery. They were like, this won't cure all of your issues. You will feel great. You will feel healthy. But your body image issues will not go away. In fact, you are going to get a whole new set of them.
Well, because you're probably, and I've always thought about this, I've had a couple of friends who have been bigger and have lost weight and gained it back or like lost it. And from what I always have understood, sometimes you get used to seeing yourself bigger so that when you see yourself smaller, you're still actually seeing the bigger person in the mirror.
That's some body dysmorphism. But for me, it's, I find when people who are larger and lose a lot of weight, it ages them. They look older to me. Like they look more like their face just gains like a couple of years, but it's because they've lost the elasticity in their face and there's excess skin in their face, so it just kind of drags everything down a little bit.
Droopy a bit.
Yeah, and I'm 35 years old. I'm going to accept the fact that skin is just not my friend anymore, and there's no elasticity left.
You have number one, the quality of your skin. You have beautiful skin. You don't look old at all. In fact, you look a lot younger. And I'm being honest here when I say this.
Thank you. But I mentally, like, when I look at it, like, I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing, like, Cruella de Vil a little bit, you know? Like,
that breaks my heart.
Yeah. I have a lot of issues that I'm working through in my head with it.
How are you working through them? That's what I want to know. Because, like, this is a struggle for a lot of people.
Basically, I tell myself to just kind of fuck off being a whiny bitch about it, because I could be 310 pounds and have blood pressure through the roof and nearly have a heart attack. So I try to put it in the bigger picture.
Trying to appreciate what you have in comparison to others who have it way worse.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that. And it's tough. Like, I'll have my self-pitying moments where I'm like, you know, like,
hate those moments,
like the skin issue, but whatever. I'm just like,
so it's the loose skin.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And the thing is, like, I can't justify spending that money. Even I can probably go down to Mexico and get it done more cheaply. I could probably go to Toronto and get they have a plastic surgery residency school that does it for half price, where basically they're full-fledged doctors. Mm-hmm. They're specializing plastic surgery and they're in their last rotation of their residency, and they go to this clinic and they do 6 weeks of nonstop plastic surgery, and they do it at a discounted price because they're doing it for their final like practice.
Right.
So I could get it all done for $20,000. But in the same breath, that's $20,000 that I could use to buy a house with my husband.
I was just going to say, I feel like this is a pivotal point in your life because you've accomplished something big while there's still challenges with it.
Yeah.
You're doing it to better your life, but your life isn't just, well, it's a huge part, but it's not just your looks.
Yeah.
There's so much more that you deserve and that you want in your life.
Yeah, like I want to buy a house
and maybe a family down the road.
Yeah, like well, that's a whole nother can of worms. So like this surgery, apparently,
the plastic surgery?
No, the bypass surgery. I'll believe it when it happens, but it increases fertility exponentially because your fat cells tends to harbor estrogen. So when you're losing all of this fat, your body is flooded with estrogen, and like your body is suddenly extremely happy because it's getting a lot healthier. So there's a really high risk of pregnancy after this. Like even for people like me who have had a history of infertility, like I can't get pregnant, as we obviously already know. but like my chances of getting pregnant are twice as high now. So like they were like, you need to use 2 forms of contraception, and I'm like,
to not get pregnant so that you can focus on doing it when you're healthier, right?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
because I'm nutritionally deficient right now. I have to take vitamins every day for the rest of my life. I'm not eating enough calories that would sustain a fetus healthily. So it's when I'm at a more comfortable weight range and my weight is stable, that's when they want you to do it. Now, technically, if I was to get pregnant now, I would be considered high risk. The hospital would follow me and they would take every step possible to make sure it was possible. There have been women who've had this surgery and literally 3 weeks or 4 weeks
Okay.
end up getting
So
pregnant.
it's just highly not recommended.
It's just not recommended. Like Mike and I could start trying in a couple of months. They want you to wait 12 to 18 months. But like, I think if Mike and I started trying in a couple of months, we'd be fine and everything would be safe. But
Because when was the last miscarriage before or after?
it was
the
last summer.
podcast?
It was after this podcast because we talked about it on the podcast. So it happened in August of
That's right.
2017.
Right. That's right. Ugh, that was just
My Facebook memories came up and I was like, oh, that's awesome.
It's so
And-
yeah. Sorry. Go
Well,
ahead.
no, it happened during when my niece was up visiting, and I'm here visiting with.
Aquarium.
Yeah, not the aquarium, the airplane museum.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I was with my niece yesterday, and we were talking about it, and she's making these movies on her iPhone using the movie editor, and she's like making these fake movie trailers. Like,
Oh, I love
you know-
her. She needs a YouTube channel now.
oh, she uses TikTok, and she's got like 200 videos on TikTok. So
Whoa,
Yep.
bitch! Up and coming.
I'll share it with you. Anyway, so
cute.
she was showing, and it's all these videos and pictures of her at the airplane museum, and these are such happy memories for her. And it was like a punch in the gut for me because I'm like, yes, that was a lovely day. I spent half of it in the bathroom miscarrying. Awesome.
Facebook memories are so fucking psychologically jarring.
Yeah.
Like, but what I've started finding really neat is that people are now sharing their Facebook memories as a way to shed light on things. So in
Like,
other words, like,
You thought
look-
this was a happy day.
Yeah.
But in reality, I do not have my shit together.
You know, I like that because I truly feel, and I feel like the fact that you're even just on the show right now talking about all this, you're kind of like this too. Like, talking about it, helps you get it out. It's going to help other people who might be going through similar things. It normalizes the fact that life ain't fucking perfect.
No.
And there's a lot of shit going on behind the fucking scenes that we don't always see.
Yep.
And so it's so important to like be there for your friends and like tell them you love them. Tell them you're here if they want to listen. Like
Yeah.
it's like so important. So I think it's cool when people share memories now and they're like, oh, this memory was from a shitty time.
Like that's
I like that in a weird way.
it comes down to like there was a couple months ago, maybe a month, six weeks ago, I literally posted on my Facebook. I was like, okay, y'all might have noticed that I am not as big as I was.
Right.
I had surgery. I'm not going to hide this from people.
Yeah.
Like, I did not have the willpower to do this without medical intervention. But like, there were people who were talking, and one of my friends back in Ottawa was kind of interested in getting bariatric surgery because they've also experienced difficulty in trying to lose weight the quote unquote normal way, because I hate when people say that, because this is as normal as any other way. And like half of their friends were like, no, that is the worst mistake you could ever make. And it was just anecdotal like evidence.
Why
that
are they saying
it was like a person that they knew.
Oh,
and it's
for
just
fuck's
but it's
sakes.
like mental bias. People assume that like, oh, you had surgery, you took the easy way out, you are a lazy like fucking piece of shit. And it's essentially like, they don't say it in that many words, but when you're reading it, you're like, this is the opinion that I am sensing from this statement. So I got so irrationally upset, and I stood up in my bed in front of my mirror, and I was like, picture. And then I found my fattest pic, and I was like, combo. And I was like, okay, guys, I've lost 85 pounds. This is why, because I had surgery, because I could not do this on my own, and I needed to have this tool to help me.
Yep.
And like, I am not ashamed of it. I will preach it from the fucking choir.
It's not a fucking easy way out, bitches. That's a fucking big time surgery, big time recovery, big time lifestyle changes. You had to fucking be on a liquid diet for 3 weeks.
I know,
like,
but
there's all these
people,
other things.
There's people who basically say, yeah, you can't eat that because you'll get sick. But people who do it the other way just do it through sheer willpower and mental
You know what?
motivation.
That's ridiculous. You should be very proud of what you've done.
Yeah, but I can't help but think like people who, like when they find out that I've had this surgery, like
that they're thinking
it like this is my own insecurities coming through, and like my back kind of is up a little bit. It's like, yeah, I've had bariatric surgery, and then like there's part of me that's like, what you going to say about it? Like I kind of want to be like, listen here. But
yeah, that's so.
But that's just me.
Tough.
But that's just me assuming the worst of everybody. That people are inherently horrible people.
I mean, they kind of are.
Yeah,
the internet is a cesspool of assholes.
Yeah,
and that's so unfortunate. I think people need to really stop judging, especially people they don't know that well. Like, they don't know your fucking journey with this. They don't know that you're doing it. You're not just doing it for weight loss. You're doing it for your overall health. You're doing it for your back. You're doing it for your just your happiness, like your self-esteem. Like, there's so many factors that go into the fact that you did it. Yep. And which leads me to my next question, because I haven't asked it yet, but like, was this covered by insurance?
Yes, 100%.
You didn't pay a cent for it?
I had to pay for the shakes before my surgery.
Okay.
It's $200 for the 3 weeks of OptiFast, which is what they use. And I am on the hook for the rest of my life for my vitamins, which I have to take every day because
that's cost,
yeah, it's about anywhere between $50 to $100 a month. But I think about what I spent in eating out. I'm saving that 4 times over. So, and that's even, so I take bariatric vitamins, and I have to take calcium supplements, and I might have to take an iron supplement, but I have to check my blood work when I get actually back to Ottawa. But
and it was totally covered by MSI or not MSI.
They call it in Ontario. It's called OHIP.
Yeah.
So it's covered under OHIP.
Would it be covered by MSI? And like, if
so, Nova Scotia does do bariatric surgery. They don't do the one that I had. They offer a gastric sleeve, which is a completely different surgery, but it essentially does the same thing.
Right, I've heard of that.
It reduces your stomach by 85%, and then it's portion control. They don't have the food intolerances that I have.
Right.
So, yeah, you could do it. There's a long wait list, I think, in Nova Scotia.
And you have to pass, like, you need to be qualifying, like, go through all these tests.
You have to be within a certain BMI range. You have to go through all these tests. You have to make sure, like, it's the same thing that I did. You have to go through all the hoops, but,
right,
it will be covered under your insurance, like through Canadian healthcare.
It's crazy.
Yep. And if it wasn't, like, because about 10 years ago, I was looking into getting a lap band in Toronto, and it was like $25,000. And that's, I mean, it's prohibitive. Like, you can't afford that just for that. So once I realized that this surgery was available through OHIP, I was like, sign me the fuck up.
So if it's something people are interested in, maybe hopefully this gives people more information on it.
Yep.
And what I will say is it's tough to cover everything in an episode, but I guess if you've heard this and you have specific questions about it, feel free to send them to me and maybe I can get you to answer them.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because I think it's important to hear. Like, I like hearing, like, when I had my surgery today, I asked everybody who's gone under for similar things. Like, what was your experience? Like, it's good to hear from real people.
Yeah.
The cold hard facts about it. My last question is a doozy. It's a big one. So, and I wrote it down on my phone today because we were at brunch and I thought of it.
Okay.
Is the juice worth the squeeze? So you've made a lot of sacrifices. There's a lot of things you can't do anymore that you really used to enjoy doing, like eating certain foods, drinking, all that. Has the juice been worth
100%
the squeeze?
100%.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can honestly see that. I can see that you can get frustrated when, like, you see a food item that you want and you can't have it, but like, it's not a overwhelming,
but like, I'm not.
You're cool with it.
Yeah, but the thing is like, your breakfast routine.
My breakfast was.
I was able to taste it. I had one bite,
and you looked like you had a mini orgasm for a split moment.
It was delicious. I haven't had hollandaise sauce in months. Now, if I was the person I was a year ago, I would have continued to try it, and then I would have gotten to the point of no return where I've gotten sick. So one taste was enough for me. I'm really learning how to satisfy myself with just little tastes and nibbles, So like, I go out to Costco with Lindsay, and she orders a poutine. I'll take a forkful and I'll eat it, and I'll be happy.
That's how I feel with like sweets and desserts, because I don't need a lot. I just need a little taste, and I'm good.
Yeah, like, so there's a learning curve and it's a process, but I'm learning to be satisfied with a lot less.
Yeah. And you're feeling more confident.
Oh yeah.
Even though, you're still going to have the body image issues.
Yeah.
Those
like,
aren't going to go away.
That's shit that everybody deals with. And
have you ever thought about doing like therapy, like to talk about this stuff and the transition?
Fuck no.
Do you honestly think it's something that
I don't think
will
it's,
be improved?
I don't think it's causing any significant issues in my life. This is normal self-esteem issues that every person deals with, and it's not causing me any undue strife. It's not affecting my work. It's not affecting my relationships. Like, my sex life has gotten exponentially better. So like, it's not like
and you get to shop at like stores that have your size now. Like,
like I'm at the higher end of normal end clothes, and you know, as time goes on, it'll get even easier.
Right.
But like, even just like I can shop at Eclipse. I haven't shopped at Eclipse in like 14 years.
And I think it's important too. Like, just dip your foot in. Like, don't like look at
I'm sorry, I have to laugh because I've discovered now that I'm not shopping at Plus stores where like it's one type of clothing style. My aesthetic is like hobo chic and or like straight up lesbian. The plaid, I love plaid and flannel.
You've always loved plaid,
but like now I just
even more so.
So it's
What with this sort of new weight, and you know, it's still your body, but this, I guess, new body, or is there anything that you put on and you feel like, oh fuck yeah, I feel confident and hot as shit? Like, what do you do to really get into like your feeling yourself mood? Like, what do you wear? What do you feel sexiest in?
Honestly, I bought a new pair of boots, and I've never been able to wear like calf boots before. So wearing skinny jeans and those boots, every time I put them on, I'm like, God damn.
What about like, because we were looking at lingerie today.
I haven't worn any of that yet.
I think that'll be a fun moment for you.
I'm still in just, I wear pajama pants and tank tops to bed and whatever.
I think that will be fun for you though when you get to that point.
I have an 80-pound dog in my bed who, if any bit of hanky panky starts, he gets real interested. So like, there is no spontaneous I wear lingerie to bed and Mike's like, hello. It's
right.
You know, like
that's true.
Like we have to plan it like, hey, go put Remy down in his crate and then come back upstairs. Wink, wink.
Does that turn you on, baby?
You know, or I'm like, or I'll just, honestly, it's at the point now where I'll look at Mike, and it won't be at any point where we're leaving the house, and I'll say, put Remy in his crate. And Mike's like, yes, okay, I know what you want to do right now. I'm going to go put Remy in his crate. So like, that's our trigger word. Go put Remy in his crate is now, let's have sex.
Let's fuck.
Although he's loving the size change because sex is,
positions are better.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like before when I was bigger and he was bigger, doggy style, like it was a lot of effort to get it in there because like my ass was just like whoa whoa, you know, and like he's not a porn star, so like, you know, like he's of normal size, so like he was like, hang on, like, and he was like trying to get it in, and like then it would slip out because like it was just you know,
the logistics.
Yeah. And then we tried it for the first time, and I think I was like 75 pounds down, and it was like
night and day.
It was like in, and then suddenly like it was like, oh my, what is this sensation? I have not felt this in like a decade.
I'm so jealous. I can't believe I have to go 6 weeks without the D.
You'll be fine. I went like 2 years once.
I mean, yeah, and I've gone longer. I like having the option.
Yeah, it's because you can't have it. You want it even more now.
Yeah, and it's just like having the option to, if a situation comes up.
Yeah, I understand.
But clit stuff is still on the table.
There you go. Get somebody to just go downtown on you.
And I'll just tell them there's only a small chance that when you go down there, you will experience either blood, coffee grinds, or yellow discharge. Those are the three things that are normal to have.
Did you say coffee grinds?
Something that looks like coffee grinds. So they put like a Band-Aid on the cervix. Like a liquid Band-Aid.
Okay, because I was like, that's not normal, sweetheart.
I drink so much coffee that it just comes
out of your vagina.
Coffee grinds.
Jesus Christ. I'm glad for context. Context is king right now.
Context is king. But we'll wrap it up.
Yes.
I want to give a big thank you to you for hopping on again.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so incredibly happy for you. And I think you deserve every bit of this. And you need to be soaking it up and fucking rocking it.
Yep.
And thanks for being really real about the situation. And being
always
honest.
really real.
Of course you are.
That is.
But like I've said, if you do have specific questions, certainly let me know. Comment, email, whatever. and Heather can answer them.
Yeah, I feel like we were pretty haphazard with the conversation. It was kind of all over the place, but
Kind of all over the place, but a good overview
yeah,
of the emotional and the physical things you went through.
yeah, that's true.
And
And maybe I'll
such
be
a
back
journey.
once I actually hit my goal, and we can celebrate.
And then the title of that episode can be Goal Weight
yeah,
Attained.
done.
Yeah. So thanks so much, Heather.
Thank you.
We're gonna go see a movie.
Yep.
Heather's. Oh, I forgot to mention, like, you're visiting from Ottawa, so like that's why she's here.
Yes, I'm on vacation.
And so you're leaving on Monday, so we're gonna hang out tomorrow night too, and I'll be able to drink then. Woo!
Yep.
Go and get drunk and celebrate the fact that my vagina is officially fixed. So there we go. Not that it was broken before. Well, I guess it was kind of.
Maybe a
iffy.
little broken.
Maybe a little bit.
Jesus Christ, Sarah.
There it is. Say it again.
Jesus Christ, Sarah.
Say a little. Give a little more passion.
Jesus Christ, Sarah.
That's the one I wanted. And Heather, ring that bell. Nice. Woo-woo. Second episode done. You're now a regular. Yes. You've done more than one episode. You are a regular.